Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this episode of Veterans Rides. I'm your host, Duane Moore. So for today's episode, we're going to be speaking with our guest, Brian Wright. This is actually his second time being on the show. Last time we covered his 2009 Corvette Z06. Today we're going to be covering his 2006 Subaru WRX, which is a wide body. And of course, at the end of the episode, we're going to be taking it out for a spin. So, a little bit about our guest. He's currently on active duty with the United States Navy. He has been in for 16 years. He has done 5 overseas deployments, and he is currently an E6. His job for the U.S. Navy is on aviation structural mechanic. And what they do is they take over the paint and body, hydraulic components, and tire and wheel systems for various aircraft. Without further ado, let's bring him on down. Brian, come on down. Hey Brian, thank you for being in the show.
Thanks, Wayne.
For the second time.
Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, I gotta say, what's your inspiration for getting this car?
So I was stationed in Maine for my first 5 years, and I was looking at getting a car that was all-wheel drive to go through the snow and be safe in the weather.
Okay. I can tell that this is a highly modified vehicle. Was that your plan from the beginning?
Not this extreme at the beginning. So at the beginning, I definitely made a financial mistake and bought a car that was over my head. So yeah, the first few years it was just get a cat bag, just drive it, just enjoy it. I had a lot of fun in the snow, driving up from the mountains in the Northeast, and then over time it has morphed into what you see today.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at the vehicle.
It's a wide body. I've also got the carbon fiber hood on it, and a carbon fiber front splitter. With the wide body kit, I'm able to fit bigger rims and tires, so I have a set of 18x10 Work XT9s. Pair that with the Brembo big brakes off of 04 STI and a set of Fortune Auto coilovers. I'm able to set everything just right for my whole tire and wheel suspension setup. Alright, Dwayne, my current setup is at 430 wheel horsepower. Running a Garrett 35R turbo. It's running at 18 pounds of boost. The engine I have is an EJ257 out of a STI, because I've went through one engine at the drag strip. Paired up with 1000cc injectors, front mount intercooler, tile blow-off valve, and tile wastegate. It just gets the job done, and it's a nice daily driver setup. Alright, for the interior of the car, it's pretty much basic. I've got a few things for all you Subaru fans out there. I have a sticker on my dashboard that reminds me every day of what can happen to a Subaru. I have up here I got my Nardi quick release steering wheel. This was just pretty much done for car show points. And then I have a Pioneer head unit, boost gauge. I'm pretty minimal, so I'm mostly focused on driving, so this is good for me. For the back of the car, I put a carbon fiber trunk on it. I was able to actually match with the carbon fiber license plate frame, and it's got a full 3-inch back catless exhaust.
All right, so now we are at my favorite part of the show, which is where we take this bad boy out for a spin. But before we do that, there was something you wanted to show us, right?
Yeah, so not only do I race it, I also take it to the local car shows around the area, and I've taken home a few first place trophies for Best Subaru.
Nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and get going. I love to do these horsepower pulls, you know, really step on the gas, so let's do it right now. Oh shit. You got coilovers in this car, right? I gotta say, around town I think it's perfectly tuned. It doesn't beat me up, and you know, we've gone over some bumps and it's not like throwing the car up in the air.
Yeah, it took me a few years to figure out what I wanted to do for suspension. Between wanting to autocross, drag race, and still be daily driven, I didn't want anything to be too rough and bump up and down and rattle my teeth out. So I finally found like a happy medium.
Yeah, and I know that takes a long time to get, to fine tune, you know, but I think you did a good job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing I gotta say is, this is a mid-2000s car, and cars since the 90s have gotten bigger. pretty much every single year, which means they got heavier, but the weight of this car is fairly low. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I can tell that, you know, just moving around a little bit, it's very responsive.
Yeah, I mean, I think my view of the mid-2000s cars, that's like the last generation before they started getting big. I've owned a 2017 STI, and it felt kind of bulky.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and
You felt the difference?
I owned a 2013 WRX hatchback. That fun, but bulky at the same time. And then every time I jump back into this thing, it's light, responsive, and you just whip it around, and it was just a fun car to drive.
Yeah, you know, a lot of cars nowadays, they try to do everything, but a car like this is definitely a lot of fun if you're able to get the opportunity to drive it.
The cabin either for a straight pipe.
Oh, I keep forgetting this is straight pipe. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's really not. I keep forgetting.
So the exhaust is a straight 3-inch all the way back, no cats, just an NVIDIA muffler, and it's externally wastegated dump tube. So it's probably the loudest that it could possibly be, and it's fairly manageable. I wouldn't say that about the neighbors, but
yeah, as long as you don't rev your car in the driveway, you'll be all right.
Neighbors are kind of used to it by now.
Overall, this car is highly modified from the engine with the big turbo, the coilovers, the suspension, the big wheels. But driving it around town, I'm not having a problem like I initially thought I was earlier. So I think it's got a nice, good street tune to this vehicle.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the only thing that you gotta get used to is the clutch is a ACT 6-puck with a heavy-duty pressure plate, so definitely gets to get used to the weight of the clutch.
But I'm getting used to the heavy clutch now. Definitely not something I would daily drive, but you know, if you gotta drive it 4 days out of the week for whatever, just because you want to have fun, it's definitely doable in this vehicle. And like I said, it's highly modified, so when you highly modify a vehicle, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to being a daily driven vehicle. Hey, but Brian, I gotta say thank you for being on the show for the second time. If you guys like what you see, hit the subscribe button below, and we're gonna have to see you guys next time.
Smash that like button.